Moving along, the interactive section seems like it's coming together well enough. So I'm going to be jumping over to the PBQs real quick, the performance-based questions. The section is actually split into two parts. So as explained before, because of the interactive canvas and the way that it operated, I would give the AI instructions on how to create that for sessions 1 through 19. However, the performance-based questions required you to track down virus infections, to type in IP addresses. So it couldn't be that point and click ABCD choice scheme. I actually had to make it where it's drag and drop or drop down menus in order for that section to work. Now, right now, there's not a learning section for session 20, the performance-based questions. However, that is going to be fixed as I go along. So I'm going to go research some lesson plans, see what I can choose from. Ooh, excuse me, and then make that decision from there. Now, one thing I want to definitely address, this wasn't supposed to auto start. This, one thing I want to address is the fact that I have two different versions of the performance-based exam, and I can't decide which one I want to do. Honestly, I'm thinking that I might lean towards the option of doing both. And if I do both, one learning section will be whatever that subject matter is, and then related to it, the quiz for that will be drop down menus. And then we will go and start the second section, which will then tie that into drag and drops. Now, I have a stop function built into the interactive quiz. That's still kind of built in here. This is version technically 39, which was one of our nuance PBQ. Yeah, so this is the version right before I decided to split it. So this would be 39, the testing module where I'm like, I'm going to butcher the code a little bit. So this is why we're getting some hiccups here where this is auto starting. But I'm going to butcher the code a little bit and see what type of directives I can change out to try to get the AI to essentially accept the performance-based structure. Accept the text boxes, accept the drop-down menus. So I was trying to force this particular narrative, and unfortunately, the structural requirements to create this drag and drop with the text box or the drop-down menus conflicted with the point and click instructions, directives that I gave the AI for 1 to 19. So once you started 20, you could never exit back to 1 or anywhere else. And I wanted people to be able to jump around. Plus, the instructions would sometimes get crossed. So when you go on a quiz for, let's say, session 8 has drop-down menus, and you're like, that's not good. So it'll be like, drop down to pick A, drop down to pick B, drop down to that kind of thing. And I'm like, that's an instruction set for session 20 only. So then I would try to force the AI where I'd say, you never do this, bad boy. But it didn't work. So eventually they had to be split up. Let's look at drag and drop. Let's begin. It's not mastery, it's PBQ test. One thing that was still functional is this stop mechanism. It stops the interactive canvas, restarts it, clears the cache, and then we'll load that. So you kind of saw that earlier where it's like, okay, let's begin mastery for session 20. Instead, it loaded session 20. Correct that. It failed to load session 20, and that's tie into the memory usage as well, because this is a massive directive that includes both the interactive and the PBQ all in this file. So this is right before I swap it or plan to swap it. So I'm just kind of running through with you guys what's to come. But the stop directive does work because while it failed to load, I simply ran it again. It stopped, cleared its cache, and then ran with no issues. So you just saw the drop-down menu. This is the drag and drop system. So overall, I think it's coming along. That's definitely not the order of volatility for sure. Should be up here, but can I put 2 in a row? I actually never tried. So I'd have to drag it back over. Okay, cool. Because this was a brand new idea that I kept fighting with, I never actually had a chance to go through the structure. So right now there's supposed to be a text box that is going to allow you to type. So as you can see, that didn't load properly. So this is going to be a work in progress. But overall, it's looking good. It's looking good in its infancy. So once this bad boy, this fish gets fed, we are going to be seeing a really, really good product, I hope. So just touching on those, where we're going. This doesn't have the copy paste directive for the failure log, and it's not going to actually. You know what? Yeah, because this is also before I stripped the failure log. This is before I found out that the AI Gemini can't actually read Canvas 39 versions later. So this is before I changed the structure for how the log is actually copied here and pasted over here. Before we fixed the download history, things like that. So no, the download history had to be disabled in here because it did not work with this because of the drag and drop function. It couldn't figure out how to print it to text properly anyway. So overall, I think this product coming along, I'm stopping the interactive for a little bit. I'm still testing through. I'm trying on my end to get it to fail. I'm forcing it to reload the same quiz 5 times in a row and then jumping to another quiz, then jumping 7 sessions into a row, creating a failure log, causing it to reset, trying to get the failure log to be massive. So I'm intentionally trying to break the product for the interactive quiz. But the previous videos, you'll see it running. That's me not trying to break it, but just me kind of putting it through its paces a little bit, just general usage, what I expect people to do. But I'm over there kicking a cat. And sorry, Felix, I'm not going to kick you. I'm over there feeding my fish. And I think it's coming along great. This is going to be the new fish that we're going to be building. Nuances, there's not an actual session 20. Training, so this is session 1, but if I was to let's begin mastery for session 20, there is no lesson plan. I was so focused on trying to get this PBQ correct that I never actually forced the AI to read out a plan, a 3-tier plan of training on the actual technical knowledge. The chain of custody was covered earlier, but we wanted to kind of keep the drag and drop for the for this functionality, so you can put it in the order that it's supposed to be in versus a scenario-based question and then you pick what is the very next stage in the process. This is going to kind of have you put that chain of custody in. This is going to be a text box that will actually have you type through the IP addresses, access controls. So overall, work in progress. You can see little nuances, like not being able to type, but it's coming along. So this is a first glimpse into the next stage of the project as I beat the other project, and feed this project exactly what it needs to succeed. Grow up healthy and strong. Feed my fish.